Good afternoon guys and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Woolley Park, hole number 10, par 4, 409 yards, stroke index 11, although to be honest I did think, Nature Watch, I did think it was a lot harder hole stroke index wise than it is. But today it's uphill, it's into the wind, so straight off the tee we're going to need driver. So if you're out here into the breeze, it's driver. But one thing I see when we get into the wind is people often try and hit it a little bit harder. They start to lose the balance, they start to lose the ball because the ball can go anywhere. So what we're wanting to think here is trying to keep it out of the wind. To keep it out of the wind, we can swing a little bit smoother, a little bit more within ourselves. That's going to get the ball launching lower. So we're also going to try and play this a little bit lower. So I'm going to do a few things at setup to encourage a lower ball flight today, get a little bit of run, because the fairways are quite firm, which then will give me an easier shot into the green. So on this shot, if I'm trying to play it a little bit lower, I'm going to move it a little bit further back into my stance. Once we go back into the stance, I want to aim a little bit further left because it's going to encourage the path to work a little bit out to the right. So we don't want to be losing the ball to the right straight away. So it's back in the stance here. I'm going to go a little bit narrower than normal. I'm down the grip a little bit, but then from there we're going to swing in balance. I'm not going to put too much speed into this. I'm going to be controlled. So get it chasing up there, so nice and low there, launched a little bit left of centre. That's ran past the 150, so it's giving me a better shot in. But you see that I didn't have to hit it any harder, I just had to commit to that setup. So get the ball teed down a little bit back in your stance, then open it up so it doesn't start right. So as we come up here, you can see as Laura pans round, bunkers. So bunkers are the main thing in this fairway that obviously are the trouble. We want to try and avoid those. You can see on the left hand side we've got 50-60 yards of fairway and rough where you're still going to be able to get a good shot into the green.
I think I've hit Woolley Hole once.
James has been known to hit Woolley Hole. Luckily nothing's going on there at the minute except for the police. There's a police operation at the minute, so James might be getting James might be getting collared. But yeah, so if we look back towards the tee, you can see there's a lot of room here on the left hand side of the hole. So you can think about that when you're on the tee box. Think about what shape you normally play. Think if you are a drawer, you can draw into that area. If you're a fader, you might want to line it up off the tee at the 150 and bring it back into this area here. That's going to keep you away from the bunkers, which is where we need to do some work on, and we're going to do some videos in the near future of how to play from fairway bunkers. It doesn't always have to be chip out sideways and then play onto the green. So let's play now. We're still uphill into this hole, so let's take into account the slope and the wind. So what we're going to do is again check how much slope we are playing uphill. So again, the Millicent PF260, which I will be giving away next week, is telling us that it's 129 yards to the flag, but it's playing 137. Again, into the wind, very similar to last week. I'm going to be playing this probably 10 yards longer, so I'm going to be looking at playing it as 147. Into that green there, I'm still going to be looking at an 8-iron. We know my 8-iron on, I played it around about 160 last week, but I'm going to grip down the club a little bit. Again, try and play that underneath the wind, so play it a little bit lower, a little bit more direct, and by gripping down the club, that's going to take some speed out of the club head. So when people ask why sometimes did I grip down, I'd like to say it's because of that. It's just something that I do. But if you do grip down the grip, it's going to take a little bit of speed out of the club head. So if you're wanting to play a 3/4 shot, if you're wanting to play something you're right in between, you can grip down it a little bit, swing a little bit smoother, and get it launching lower, and that's going to be more direct for us. So again, a little bit back in the stance, a little bit open with the stance, and then in control. Again, started a little bit right, didn't open up enough, but I have certainly got a members bounce there. So that's a classic there, that I've got it a little bit too far back in the stance. I haven't opened up enough. So let me hit another one now quickly, just to show that we're going to have to adjust. So you really see there how far open I've got to aim. So now here I'm probably aiming just right of the bunker on the left side of the green. The ball's back in the stance, down the grip, and you see nice and low, a lot more direct, but you see I had to aim, a ripple from the crowd, but I had to aim probably there around about 15 yards to the left. So to play that shot, you've got to think about that. If we're knocking the ball position back, we need to open it up. It's a little bit of trial and error, so get on your golf course, play a few of those shots, see how far you have to aim open, but then commit to the shot. You'll see it lower and more direct. So you can see here, obviously this is the second one, so I got it started online a little bit better. I made obviously some changes at setup, aimed a little bit more open. This is the first one, which is more luck than judgment. Came nicely off this slope here, a true members bounce. But this is where it shows that when you're trying to play these shots, you've got to be switched on, you've got to know where your ball position, you've got to know how far left you want to aim if you are playing knockdown shots. Because there on that occasion I was very lucky. But if my ball was to finish here, it got the wrong side of the slope, I've now got a very tricky downhill shot, not much green to work with, off a tight lie. So it's not the shot and it's not the place you want to leave it. So if it was going to miss the green, this would not be the place that I'd recommend. So from here, you're going to see that it's going to be a very difficult shot. Maybe not so difficult, although however, that's 3 chip-ins in 2 weeks, it's unheard of. But that would have gone a long way past. I played that pretty well, as we saw, because it did bounce in, but that would have ran probably 20 feet past, so not too bad, but let's put out. Okay, so now in for another chance, obviously here at a birdie. Not that I meant to chip in, but it went on okay. Downhill putt, so not an easy putt, but again, it's inside tour average. So if we're talking tour averages again from that far out, so tour average from 100 yards is 23 feet, so I'm well inside that, and I had around about 140. So again, giving yourself, being a little bit more realistic when you're thinking about how close to hit it. Some people say, oh, I wish this was closer, but I've already been lucky by coming off the slope. Two threes there, very rare, obviously a rare chipping for me, it's been a long time. But then also the main thing there is thinking about playing into the wind, playing that flight a little bit lower. I've not tried to hit either of those shots too hard and I've come out with 2 good scores. But make sure that ball position is slightly back, we open up our stance, get out on the golf course, give that a little bit of trial and error, and then you'll get out here and you'll be able to play a few more shots, especially if you're looking at 3/4 shots. So guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again later in the week.